require you to break your character or look like a damn fool. So I'm really if you go low, I'm gonna go to hell. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Liyah for those who are new, and y'all can see we're doing something a little different. We're doing a sit down video. So in my last few videos I mentioned how I wanted to start this series, and this is the first episode of it. It's called Liyah's Law, and I will be basically talking to the girls, giving y'all advice, my take on things, just being here for us to connect and have a community. So I have all my topics. In honor of it being the first day of Cancer season, June 22nd, I'm wearing blue. Y'all see my favorite color is blue. And in honor of my birthday being next month, which is the last day of Cancer season, we're gonna be doing I'm just give you guys some things that I learned so far in my 20s before my birthday comes. And yeah, so let's get right into the video. Here are, I took notes on it, like really. Here are 7 things I've learned so far in my 20s. The first thing being, it is closure is overrated. I be telling my friends this all the time, like, you don't need closure, okay? You don't. People do not owe you an explanation. You don't owe people an explanation. And sometimes people don't even have an explanation as to why they do things they do. Some people just do things because they simply can. And that's all there is to it. The only person you should be seeking closure from is yourself, not an external source. Why would you seek something from someone who caused you these unbearable emotions or caused you some type of pain or trauma? Why would you seek closure from someone like that? No, you need to look within yourself and get it from yourself. And those people, they don't owe you closure, basically. It's overrated, babe. Go on with your life, figure it out, but you don't need to go seek it from the source that caused you to need it, okay? You don't have to wait on another person to remedy that or to give you closure. It's something that can be given from you, okay? Okay. Number 2 being, you do not always have to be the bigger person. So I'm really if you go low, I'm gonna go to hell. That's really what I am. And I don't know if it's the Cancer in me or the Leo in me or what in me. I don't know if it's the cusp Cancer in me. But you can go low, I'm taking it to the deepest pits of hell. Literally. You don't always have to be the bigger person, okay? What's that saying? I'm only 5'3". How much of a bigger person can I be, babe? I'm only 5'5". How much of a bigger person do you want me to be? I can only be so big. But like, seriously, like, you don't have to always be the big person. Like I said previously, not everyone deserves an explanation. Not everyone deserves a response. Sometimes no response is a response. You don't have to react to everything. And yeah, obviously that is kind of being the bigger person, but it's a way you could go about things that don't require you to break your character or look like a damn fool. Pretty much is what I'm trying to say. You don't have to always just like, I'm just gonna, okay, let me say this. When it comes to being the bigger person, you do not always have to take BS from people or take stuff from people. You don't always have to just take it to the chin. Sometimes you do need to take it to hell, because people will constantly keep effing with you if you keep pulling this I'm the bigger person card and you don't put your foot down. Or y'all get what I'm trying to say? Like, people walk over you if you allow them to. And sometimes you don't need to be the bigger person. If you want to be a doormat, by all means, be one. But it's limits to everything. And it's limits to you pulling up, I'm gonna be the bigger person. No. I'm a strong believer in, if you do not acknowledge certain things or give it your attention, it does not exist, okay? It don't. It only exists in your world if you acknowledge it and give it attention. Okay? I'm a strong believer in that. It don't exist unless I acknowledge it. And then when I acknowledge it, it exists in my world. This is my world. Nothing exists in it. No one exists in it if I do not acknowledge them or give them attention. Okay? Okay. Moving on to número 3. I feel like healing is messy as hell, but eventually it ends. I do not like the fact that we are currently in this state of constantly feeling like you have to heal, constantly feeling like you have to do this, constantly feeling like you have to be on self-growth, self-discovery journey. Granted, that's what life is. It's getting to know yourself. It's constantly changing, constantly realizing I don't like this, I like this, constantly realizing I may have some things within myself I need to work on. Yes, that is what life is, but I feel like it's becoming an aesthetic, and healing is something that you do and you put work into, and you should not feel like you have been having to heal for 10 years, a whole decade of your life. You should not be feeling like that. Like, where do you have the time in between to live and mess up and make mistakes and enjoy life and do things for the plot? Where do you have the time to do that? Let me know. Like, seriously, where do you have the time to do that? Like, dead ass. So you can be crying 1 minute, like you could literally be crying 1 minute and be over it 3 minutes later. I be like that sometimes, honestly. And then 2 days later, you could be crying about it all over again. That's just how healing is. It's super duper messy, but it's no one right way to heal, and it's no way to look healed. That's why I said you shouldn't be constantly feeling like it's almost like the idea of a never-ending goal. Healing shouldn't be a never-ending goal, like, and it doesn't have to look a certain way. And that's why I feel like we're losing it at. Okay, we're losing it at that, because now healing is an aesthetic when it's really an act of something that you're doing internally, and there's no one right way to heal. I just personally feel like you should not constantly, continuously be feeling like you have to be in a state of healing when you don't. Healing is a seasonal thing. It's not your personality, boo. Okay? It's meant to be a season. Let it pass, sit in it, feel it, go through the motions, do what you need to do. But it's not a life sentence. And don't be treated like it's one. And it's not an aesthetic either. So please, let that go. Let it be. The 4th thing I learned is confusion is your answer. If something confuses you, that's your answer right there to leave it alone. Okay? Anything or person in this life that brings you confusion instead of clarity, or any form of uncertainty, you need to ditch it. I personally, I don't like confusing people. I don't like things that confuse me, make me feel like I'm walking around with a question mark. I feel like confusion leads to overthinking and anxiousness. So if it confuses me and I cannot get clarity out of it, then you just need to leave it alone. Just walk away, leave it alone. It's not worth your sanity. Okay? It's not worth it. You just have to let it go. If it ain't gonna love you the way you should, let it go. That's what you need to do. You need to just let it go. So basically, if you constantly have a question mark about something, that's the answer within itself. That's your answer. And you just need to let it go. Going to number 5. Being alone is okay. It should not be a punishment. It's not meant to be a punishment. Sometimes you need isolation. You don't need to be surrounded by people, their ideas, their things. Sometimes I feel like you need to sit with your own thoughts and sort through them yourself. You don't need to go ask your friend their opinion on this. You don't need to go ask your family member their opinion on this, or what should you do about this. Some things I think you just need to sit in isolation and work through it yourself. But that should not feel like a punishment. Okay? Yeah, and sometimes you just need a season by yourself. Sometimes it's just a seasonal thing. You shouldn't feel isolated 24/7. But again, with these aesthetics, I feel like now it's aesthetic to do things by yourself. If it's not something that's genuinely something you enjoy to do or want to do, don't try to force yourself to do it by yourself. Granted, you don't have to wait on other people to do things. However, if you don't like going to the movies by yourself, don't force yourself to go do that. Some things you could do by yourself are literally reading a book. You could do that by yourself. You could do some self-care by yourself. Whatever would make you feel better, you could do that by yourself. It doesn't always have to be activities like going out to eat, going to yoga, going to go do this. It doesn't always have to be activities outside that you have to go do by yourself. You get what I'm trying to say. You're picking up what I'm putting down. It don't have to be you going to the movie. It don't have to be solo dates. It could be stuff you could do in the house by yourself, and that could be counted as quality time by yourself. It doesn't have to be something you go outside to do for it to count as quality time with yourself, okay? Because I got trapped into that. I was like, which I've never had a problem doing things by myself. I'll go and sit at a table and eat by myself. Do I always enjoy eating by myself? No, because I like to talk, okay? I like entertainment. I like all of that. But will I? I will, okay? I enjoy reading by myself. I do. That's something I don't want to do with another person. I like walking, but I don't enjoy walking by myself. So why would I go force myself to walk by myself? No, I'm not doing that. Okay. The sixth thing that I want to talk about that I learned is discipline is a form of self-love. You have to have discipline in this life. If you do not have discipline, I don't know what to tell you. I'm still working on my discipline. However, you learn very, very, very fast that motivation only takes you so far. Feelings are extremely temporary, and to feel motivated is temporary. To be something is different than to feel something. You are not always what you feel. So just because you feel motivated today, tomorrow you may feel so low in the slums that you don't want to do anything. And that's when discipline comes in, and you have to just get up and go do it regardless. Now, there's always the good and the bad to each side. Just because someday I'm not saying that you need to make yourself every single day get up and go do something you don't want to do, because that leads to you feeling burned out and drained. But it's better to be disciplined than to run off on things just based off your temporary feeling of motivation. It's a great feeling. Motivation is a great high, but it only lasts so long. So if you can only do things when you're motivated, and any other time you don't feel that sense of motivation, you don't do anything, you need to work on that. You need to figure out, okay, what can I do to make myself be at least 1% better every day? At least do one little thing that I know I need to do, one task I need to complete every day, and do that. Sorry, my phone locked. So like me, I'm a D1 procrastinator. Like seriously, I'm terrible at doing things ahead of time. So whether it's you saying no, you just drinking your water, you saying no to liquor, no to drugs, kids. You just going to the gym, for example. If you know something's gonna cut into the time you have designated for yourself, just say no. Don't do it. Just go do what you already had planned to do with yourself. And this leads me into saying, keep promises that you make to yourself. I'm a type of girl, I don't like that false hope, false promise type of thing. I hate that. Any person that tells me they're going to do something, I'm going to need you to actually do it, or you're going to piss me off and I'm not going to want to deal with you. So you need the same energy with yourself. If I tell Liyah, let me talk myself in a different point of view. If I tell Liyah, we're going to go do this, we need to go do that, we're going to go to the gym, we're going to do your hair, we're going to clean your room, we're going to go out to eat, I better go do it, because I told myself I was going to go do that. I shouldn't be telling myself lies and giving myself false hopes and promises and get mad at other people when they do the same thing. Granted, I'm going to give myself grace when it comes to it. I'm not giving other people grace when it comes to it. But don't be giving yourself false promises. If you tell yourself you're going to do something, try your absolute best to do it. Try your absolute best to do it and keep the promises that you make with yourself. Try your best to do that. Number 7. Growth requires you to grieve. I be feeling like, I don't know if people think I'm crazy when I say this, but I be like, oh, I'm grieving myself. I'm grieving this. I'm grieving. You don't always have to grieve the deceased. You don't always have to grieve someone passing. You could grieve your previous self, your previous season, stage of life. You could grieve those things. And I feel like when you sit in those things and you feel to the core those things, it helps you grow. It helps you move forward as a person. It helps you work past things. So I really think it's super necessary to grieve who you used to be. And this helps when it comes to you just letting things go and letting things be as they should be. For example, as human beings, I believe that we're meant to be fluid, not soluble beings. We're meant to change, fluctuate. If I put some water in a short, wide cup and then I go pour it in a tall glass, it's gonna be different. We're meant to be fluid, we're meant to change, we're meant to fluctuate. We're not meant to be the same for our whole life. So grieve who you used to be so you can become who you need to be and who you're meant to be. Some parts of yourself you have to let go. You have to shed it and leave it alone. Leave it where it's at in the past so you can move forward to what's meant for you. Did I just eat that? I don't know. You guys tell me. But let me stop. But yeah, these are things I've learned. So yeah, back to the grief thing. I don't think that we're meant to be boxed in. I don't like people put me in categories, box me in things. We're meant to change. And if you are another person who's getting upset at people for changing, especially if it's a positive way, then you need to go outside and touch grass and look at yourself, because you have issues, you have a problem. Like, how are you mad at somebody else for changing, letting go certain parts of themselves? No, especially if it's for the greater good. Why are you mad? So yeah, and it's also okay to grieve relationships, whether it's family, platonic relationships, friendships, or even romantic relationships. It's okay to grieve them. They don't have to be deceased for you to grieve them. Just grieve with what you had is no longer yours. Let it go and let the door open for something new. Yeah, that's what you need to do. Moving on to my very last thing, your 20s are not meant to be perfect. My 20s, babe, I was telling you about the plot last time. My 20s are my 20s. I'm never getting these years back. I'm never gonna be sitting here 21 years old again. I was never gonna be 20 again. I was never gonna be 19 again. I'm never gonna be 22 again. So you need to live your life. Do not be in the house living like you're 80 years old and you got a family to feed and you don't. Even if you do got a family to feed, you're still not 80 years old, babe. So don't be living your life like you a grandma. You're not. Live your life while you're young. I'm never gonna look this good again, okay? Hair may never be this full again, but I'm gonna speak into existence. My hair gonna stay full and I'm gonna always look good, but I'm never gonna be this young again. Okay, skin flawless, no wrinkles, no nothing. Never gonna have these legs again to show off, this stomach to show off, all of that to show off. I'm gonna enjoy it while I got it. Why am I gonna be walking around treating myself like I'm in my 70s, in my 60s, in my 50s, in my 80s? No, absolutely not. To each his own. But Liyah's not doing that. You're not meant to be perfect, okay? You will F around and find out. Like moi, you will do that. I love effing around and finding out sometimes. As long as the find outs aren't permanent, okay? That's all. Just know that when you do things like how I do and you do things with a plot, sometimes you got to, when the plot thickens too much, you need to end the damn story. Don't keep on. Just take a little break and then come back to it. You feel me? Do y'all feel me for real? Do y'all? This side looks much more than that side. Okay, maybe this is better now. But yeah, your 20s are meant for you to grow, learn yourself, lose yourself, find yourself again, maybe even lose yourself a third time, and continuously find yourself and learn who you are. Okay. And I also want to say, don't be feeling like you're rushed or you're behind. Everybody's time is different. Comparison is the thief of joy, and if you continuously compare yourself to these other people and the things they got in this life, then you're never going to be happy. You do not know what people go through or sacrifice to have the things that they have in this world. So don't go around wishing you was anybody else, because you don't know. Okay? You don't know how hard they worked for it, the things they had to do, their morals they had to bend. You don't know. So don't be going around comparing yourself to anybody or the things that they got. Practice gratitude. That's what you need to do. Practice gratitude. So despite me telling you don't go around comparing yourself to people you don't know, also don't do it to people that you do know. I wouldn't think I had to say this, but don't go around comparing yourself to people that you do know. Whether you think you know them like this or you know them personally, you grew up with them, don't go around comparing yourself to them either. That's actually a little bit worse. And I think once you realize we're all just figuring this thing out, this is all of our first times trying this thing called life. It's really trial and error. That's why I say you will F around and find out. It's really trial and error. You have to mess up to learn what you need and you need to do, what you can and can't do, what's good for you and what's not good for you. Some things you don't have to experience to know, but it makes things a little bit different when you did have to experience it to know. None of us truly know what we're doing. Our parents don't even know what they're doing. This is their first time at life. So we all just need to take this one day at a time, one step at a time, and continuously figure it out as our journey continues. Because we all just trying to do our best, okay? So don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself some grace and some love. But that's the end of today's video. Those were all the things, the 8 things that I learned so far in my 20s, and my advice to you guys. You may be in your 20s, you may be a little older than me, or you may be younger than me. However, that's my take on my 20s so far. So I love you all. I'll see you guys in my next video and the next episode of Liyah's vlog. And yeah, I hope you have a good night and a good day and a good rest of your year. Love you. Do you guys like the intro? I love it. It's breathtaking. Okay, bye.